It's really hard to believe that it was just 77 degrees the other day and now it's back down into the 20s. But I think this week we're gonna start warming up a good bit and the big barn project is gonna be underway. It's been my mission to try to save the very first elderberry tree that I found on the property, and I was able to propagate a good bit last year. I know this doesn't look like much, but I've been working on rehabbing this little area to make it a little easier for me to try to get some cuttings from this tree. Let me show you what I'm talking about. For me, the easiest way to identify an elderberry tree is by looking at the bark, at least this time of year. The bark is fairly smooth, but then it has these little raised nodules. I don't know if that's the proper term, but it has these little raised marks on the actual bark. But this is where, if you cut it properly, this is where a root would come out of. And by looking at this elderberry tree and seeing the growth that is already starting, I might be a little too late. And I am all about just trying something new, you know, doing something and giving it a shot. Yes, I would have liked to have done this back over winter, which we are creeping into spring. And with the warmer days, I knew I was gonna have to hurry up and come here and get my clippings, but I think I'm gonna give it a shot. So I cut it at a little bit of an angle, and even though that it's already starting to kind of grow, I think it's worth a shot. So my intentions are, this one, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna lose, but if I cut it here, of course I need probably some better pruning. Okay, let's try these. These might work a little bit better. A little bit. Okay. So this will be the top and this will be the bottom. I'll probably lose this little one, but that's okay. And then now I have the start of a new one. So I've got the bottom and the top. With the elderberry clippings, you can actually just stick them right into the ground. But I'm gonna bring them inside because I do want the root system to develop and I want to be able to see it, because I also plan on planting an elderberry patch and continuing my grow for elderberry. Here's a good example of what you actually want when the leaves aren't actually starting to grow. If you look at the actual elderberry branch, you kind of want to stick with like the newer growth. But see right here, that is where the leaf will start to come out. So a good solid clipping is going to have this area where the roots are going to come out to here, which is where the leaves will come out. So my plan is to clip just above that. So when I place it in my jar or directly into the ground or even some potting mix, this is what I want on top and this is what I want on the bottom. When it comes to propagating your elderberry cuttings, I've seen a few different ways that you can do this. I've seen where people directly cut it and then stick it straight into the ground as is. Don't do anything. I've seen some where you cut it and you can dip the end in honey and then stick it in some potting mix. I've taken my cutting just like this and I have placed it in a mason jar with a little bit of water. Now with this method, the one thing that I would do is to change out the water pretty regularly. I think last time I did about every couple of days and the roots were just happy as can be. But as soon as the roots really started growing, that's when I went ahead and planted. These will probably stay inside for maybe a good 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not even. And then I'll be planting them directly around the beekeeper's apothecary. The variety of elderberry that we are propagating is Sambucus nigra. A lot of people have become more accustomed to elderberry, especially when it comes to today's over-the-counter pharmaceuticals that you can purchase that have elderberry in it, between the syrups or even the cough drops. I've even seen where they've taken elderberry and used it as a vitamin for immune boost. And that is really what it's good for. It's full of antioxidants and vitamins as well, which is why it's so important to have in your own home garden apothecary. And I've shared in the past where I did some research and I found out that an acre of elderberry can produce up to 800 pounds of pollen for your honeybees, which I think is fabulous. So I know it's good for us. I know that medicinally it has a lot of properties, and I know that what it's doing for the bees and the environment around us is also beneficial. I'm definitely gonna do a count because I wanna see how many clippings we were able to get from that one little tree down there. I just finished counting how many cuttings I was able to get from that elderberry tree, which, mind you, I can go back down there and probably get triple the amount of this. But I have 43 cuttings. That's 43 trees that are gonna help feed my bees and also grow our apothecary. And that was free. Now I could go out and buy 43 elderberry trees and plant them and spend maybe $20 per tree. It's a lot of money. I just did it for free. This is the information that I want to share with you so you can do the same thing. Medicinally, you can use, yes, the berries, but you can also use the flowers, you can use the bark, and you can use the leaves. That's what I found was pretty interesting, but one of my favorite things that I did this past summer is I collected a good bit of the elderberry flowers and I infused it in some of our honey, and I'll add that video somewhere above. But here's what I found was really interesting about not only the flower having medicinal properties, and of course the berries, but the bark and the leaves. David Hoffman also shared that you can make a salve with the elderberry leaves and use it externally for tumors, which I thought was really interesting. And I'm definitely all for making a new skin salve for sure. When these start to grow and I'm able to do a harvest, I will show you guys what we're gonna do with them, between the elderberries, between the elderflowers, and now even the leaves. I'm gonna do a little bit more digging too about the bark, because I know that you can use that as well medicinally. And isn't it amazing that God put all these wonderfully medicinal, helpful, nourishing, healing plants all around us? We just gotta take the time to see it, gotta take the time to learn them, and gotta take the time to help them grow. I'll keep you guys posted on this adventure, and thank you guys for watching. And as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old. Bye guys.